Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face. Welcome back to another round of this Motorsport Manager career. We're back today with our Audi save. We've got the British Grand Prix coming up. It is the 8th race of this season. It is going to be a full wet race. Should be interesting. We've got no upgrades going into our car. We'll get into that in a second. But if you saw the title of this video, you will know that we've got some changes. Yes, that's right. We've got some changes coming up. As you can see, you may not, if you've watched the previous series, we've had some longer races. We have switched back. We've gone back to the base game, pretty much. The rebalancing that I didn't seem to be working out too well. I don't know whether it was that the AI just couldn't seem to handle the changes we made to the tyres and the length of the races. Just burning through the tyres quickly, pitting with a couple of laps to go. It just didn't work out. They couldn't handle it, especially Renault. We've seen Renault make some really weird choices. They do like to be ultra aggressive. Doesn't work out in this game being ultra aggressive a lot of the time. So we have shortened the laps up. I've done some rebalancing of the tyres and everything as well. I've changed the rate at which the AI burns through the tyres, so when they're pushing all out, they don't actually use as much tyre as they would have done previously. I actually found a little bit of code that does change that, so that is down back slightly. So that should help with everything. Everything should now work, hopefully. We might still see some cars coming on the last few laps, but hopefully it's not going to be a big deal or as big as a deal as it was before. I've shortened up the pit lane, the pit stop times being all the way through the pits, because we have jumped from a 40-mile-an-hour pit lane speed to a 60-mile-an-hour pit lane speed. So if some of the cars do decide to do an extra stop coming later on in the race, they're not going to lose that much time through the pits, and everything should still be as it was. They're only going to lose a few places if they do decide to do that. But anyway, we're going to come to the car development screen and we're going to get into Fuzzy's notebook at the moment. As we thought, engines, new engines going into Mercedes and Ferrari. They've built their third new engine of the season. Decent improvements, not massive improvements to their cars, but it is an improvement nonetheless. That Mercedes engine does filter down to the customer teams of Williams, McLaren and Aston Martin, and the Ferrari equally passes down to Prema and Alfa Romeo. Mercedes also have new brakes going into their car, puts them 5th best overall. Ferrari have new gearbox, as do Aston Martin, pushes them to 4th and 7th respectively in that respect. And Alfa Romeo with the new engine also has a new rear wing on that car. Absolutely outstanding. Rear wing is going to be crucial here in Guildford. Rear wing suspension, I think Alfa Romeo have a really good suspension as well. Look at that, Alfa Romeo, really good suspension, really good rear wing, and a pretty decent engine. Alfa Romeo could be a dark horse for this race. Bottas and Schumacher should have a pretty decent car for this track. Meanwhile, Mercedes, as we mentioned, they've got engine and brakes. They've got 2 upgrades just because they are falling behind in the development race, and that is because they're going for new engines at the moment. And whilst they get the new engine, if they build a new engine, that just filters down free. It's just a free upgrade for the customer team. Since we like to keep the engines as they would be in real life, it is a free upgrade for the customer team, who are also developing like front wings, rear wings. It's a little bit of the reason why Ferrari and Mercedes have slipped down the order. They're currently 6th and 8th overall. Not the best cars at the moment, so we're going to help them out a little bit developmentally. They're going to get, if they do build a new engine from now on, they're going to get a new part to go along with that, just to equate what the customer teams are getting as well. Just so Ferrari, if we keep things going, Ferrari and Mercedes, they're going to be a long way behind. So we do need to help them out a little bit with their development. Red Bull still looking really strong. McLaren have the 2nd best car now. Alfa Romeo, as we went, have a really strong car. It's going to be a really strong car for this track. They could be favourites here. Obviously, it depends what Schumacher and Bottas can get out of that car. But anyway, yeah, we've got changes going on. We've got a really rainy race, so we're not going to be able to see too much. It's not going to be the best test for the balancing that we've done. I have tested it out previously. It did seem to work. We had races that were set in stone. We had no one coming in late on in the races to do pit stops, unless someone was just totally out of it. I think I had Renault once do 2 pit stops, but it was planned because they went for 2 quick tyres and then a medium sort of tyre, the middle compound for the weekend, and they got through the race. They did get through the race, and with the shorter pit stop, they did finish pretty much where they should be. So hopefully we're going to see some improvements from Renault in this race. If not, there's nothing we can do. Renault are just a lost cause if we can't do anything. But anyway, we're going to get into practice. We're going to skip over it as is usual, and we'll be back in a second for qualifying. So practice is over. Renault looking pretty strong around this track. Alfa Romeo not as strong as we thought they would be, although it was wet in practice. So these numbers, not really a good indicator of what's going to be coming up in qualifying. So we're just going to jump straight into it. Pretty much there with the cars. We only have the intermediate boost. We have medium boost as well. We got 10% on the qualifying trim. Didn't quite get there with 15% trims for both race and qualifying. Nearly there with the setup. We're just going to switch back to this one with Vettel. It's a little bit out there. Maybe we should just try and move that a nudge that way. Just see if that does up for him. It says we can go on the super soft. The rain is coming there. We're going to try hit that middle sector there. And we're pretty much all there with Gasly as well. We didn't actually set a dry tyre time during practice. So I don't quite know what we're like on the dry tyre, but we're just going to wait. We're going to wait for this rain to go. We're going to come out with about 9 minutes left or so. Once we wait for that 9-minute mark to go past everyone out, we've got a few cars out on wet tyres at the moment. We might see some scalps as we usually do in the rain. The AI not the best at dealing with rain in qualifying, especially over 3 qualifying sessions. We might see some big scalps going out here. We might get an idea of seeing where the Alfa Romeos are at during this race. Hopefully they can get out of Q1 here in the rain. I do want to see how quick the Alfa Romeo could be over this track. Currently Vettel is going quickest because we're one of the only cars out on the super softs at the moment. There are a few out after us, but they might be hitting the rain. So we might be 1-2 after Q1. It's not going to be where we end up in this race unless we get a lot more rain during qualifying, but I don't think it's going to work out that way. Are we getting any scouts? We'll just wait for this to finish. It looks like we're going to get Perez out of the race here, unless he's going out again. He's out on an Inter. He might be quick enough to get out of the bottom. What is it? 9. Bottom 9. And he does. On that pair of Inters, Perez does get out of the bottom 9 here. Leclerc, Hamilton. Oh, have we got Ferraris out? We've got McLarens out. We've got a Mercedes out. Verstappen. Is Alonso going to go quicker here and knock Verstappen out of qualifying? He does. Alonso goes quickest, and that is 2 Mercedes, 2 Ferraris, 2 McLarens, one of the Aston Martins out. And that is a Prema. So we do have the Alphas escape here and be pretty quick. We've got Williams pretty quick there as well. Hulkenberg. It looks like the Williams is pretty strong in the rain. Might bode well for them in the race. We don't know whether that is going to be a question. Williams probably haven't brought enough. Although with the rain, it doesn't matter if they haven't brought enough of the softest compound for this race, does it? So hopefully that is that. But that is some big scouts, some big names going out in Q1 there. We set our quickest lap on a dry tyre. And we'll just see what the rain is like. We've got rain heading into Q2 here. Nothing we can do about that, although the rain is going to stop pretty early this time out. So we're going to get 2 dry tyre runs in. We're going to get some cars come out on the wets. Can't help that, but they are all going to be doing a dry run. There's no point us coming out on an Inter. Why would we come out on an Inter? We'll get both cars running here just to make sure we can get 2 runs in during this session. We'll stick with Vettel. Ocon is currently quickest, although not many cars have set their first sector yet. And Ocon goes across the line with a 132. And it looks like we're going to be 1-2 again. But then everyone else should be out on a dry tyre to finish this session on. So everyone should be where they're at after this qualifying session. We shouldn't get any of the scalps like we did in the last qualifying session. But we're just going to wait to get out again. We've got a few cars out on track now. We've got Hulkenberg, the Williams are out at the moment. Both Haas's are on track. And we've got a Prema and an AlphaTauri out there at the moment. We're going to get... Oh, that's a Renault coming out. We're at the back of the grid, so we can't quite time as well as we usually do. We just got to hope that when we come out, no one else comes out. Oh, we just get out ahead of traffic then. We're going to get Vettel out as well. Give him enough time to get around, get his tyres up to temperature, and hopefully we can put in a decent qualifying lap here and get into Q3. At least with one of the cars. Nico Hulkenberg is currently quickest at the moment. That Williams is looking pretty strong this weekend as well. I am interested to see what the Alfa Romeos of Schumacher and Bottas can do. Are they quick? Are they where they should be? Could they have the quickest car this weekend? No, they don't. We've got one. No, we don't. They are both through, aren't they? Bottas, Schumacher, a third and fourth. I was looking at Schwartzman thing. That red confuses me because that Prema red is so close to the Alfa Romeo red. But we get one car through into Q3. Vettel is out. Vips is out. Newgarden, Prema, and one of the Williams, Hulkenberg, is through to Q3 in a Williams. We have a Haas through. We have both Renaults, both Red Bulls, and Aston Martin up there as well. We know that Aston Martin has a really good rear wing as well, so they should be pretty strong. I'm guessing they're pretty disappointed with Lance Stroll this time out, although the engine is not the best at the moment. But it is Gasly carrying the flag for us at the moment. Hopefully we're going to get out pretty early. It doesn't look like anyone else is coming out early. It looks like it's going to be a dry qualifying session here for Q3, which is good. And there's only 2 cars out on track in the early going over the first minute and a half. Everyone else is now filtering out of the pits. Esteban Ocon is out for his first flying lap. Gasly is now on his first flying lap as well. We're going to see we're currently behind Esteban Ocon over the first 2 sectors here. Esteban Ocon does a 1:29.3. I'm guessing we're going to be behind that by 2.5 tenths of a second. Perez is quickest. Renault looking mightily quick here around this track. Ricciardo goes quickest. Williams still looking strong. Perez is up there. Schumacher in the Alfa Romeo is up there as well. So Alfa are looking really strong here. They're in for a decent point haul. The Alfa Romeo team. Williams looking pretty strong as well. The Haas is up there. Aston Martin, Ocon. I'm guessing that Aston Martin's possibly a little bit better rated than that on this track, but we don't know. We've got a Haas and a Williams out on track at the moment. And none of them, I think Hulkenberg's come out on a used pair of super soft. We've got cars filtering out of the pits as well. So we're going to get Gasly out of the pits. We get out in front of the Aston Martin of Esteban Ocon. Ocon's going to pass us on track. He's going a little bit quicker, getting his tyres up to speed here. And it doesn't like Hulkenberg and I think it was Magnussen. They haven't improved on their laps over qualifying, but here we go with our qualifying lap. Gasly is quicker than his last lap here, so we might climb up at the 10th place if we can get above Esteban Ocon. Ocon is slower in his second sector. If we can get ahead of the Haas as well of Magnussen would be good for us. Perez looks like he might be challenging his teammate here. Gasly gets up into 7th place. Perez can improve. Albon is improving here. He jumps up into 6th place ahead of his teammate Fernando Alonso. We start from 8th, but it is a Renault front row of the grid here. And Schumacher is 3rd in the Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo, we were talking about how it's going to be really strong. It is looking like it is going to be really strong. And Hulkenberg is starting 4th in a Williams, so that Williams pretty much suited to this track as well. Which I think is a thing of rebalancing the mod as well, because with the rebalancing I've changed it a little bit more, so if a car is good at a certain track, they have the 3 most crucial parts. They will perform a little bit better than a car that is not suited for the track. Whether that works out in the long run, we won't know. We're not really going to get an answer to whether our changes are going to work either. And yeah, because this rain is going to end pretty early, so even on inters to softs, we should see teams get through to the end from that. We do have to start on the inters. And we'll just go push, 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 push. And the other change, just before we go down the grid, is you can see this is unlocked here. Because it is a wet race we're starting on, so we do get the tyres unlocked like they would be in real life. But in future, if you qualify in Q2, it is not going to be like real life. You will get to choose a fresh set of tyres for the start of the race, even if you did get through to Q3, just to help the AI out. Make sure that they can get the full complement of that first tyre out there. As we discussed, it's all about making sure we can just eliminate them coming in with 2 laps to go. That is what we're trying to eliminate. But anyway, here is a grid for the 2022 British Grand Prix. We've got Daniel Ricciardo on pole, Sergio Perez's teammate just behind him, Schumacher really well all the way up there in 3rd, Hulkenberg 4th in a Williams, getting more out of that Williams than he did out of the Ferrari, at least for this race. Valtteri Bottas is 5th in the second Alfa Romeo. Albon is 6th in the Albon ahead of his teammate Alonso. Then we've got Gasly for us in the Audi. Magnussen, decent qualifying for him. He's shown that he's really strong in qualifying. He was really quick last season in the first part of the season in a Williams. Ocon is 10th in the Aston Martin, rounding out the top 10. Then we've got Newgarden 11th in a Haas. Vips 12th. Vettel is 13th for us. Schwartzman and Prema is 14th. Williams, Latifi 15th. Verstappen all the way down there in a Mercedes. Stroll in the Aston Martin 17th. Norris 18th in a McLaren, not good for him. Then we have the 2 Ferraris on the 10th row of the grid, Hamilton and Leclerc 19th and 20th. Giovinazzi is 21st in a Prema. Tsunoda 22nd in an AlphaTauri. Sainz laps on the back row of the grid in the McLaren, and Russell just totally caught out by the rain. These two totally caught out. Russell starts from the back row of the grid. It is a little bit rainy. The rain's going to get heavier over these first few laps, so whilst it is not too heavy out on track, we're going to push. It looks like we're slow off the line with Vettel, but Gasly gets a really good start here. He's up into 11th. Schumacher has had a good start. He's jumped Perez. Ricciardo has had a really good start as well. He's out into the lead here, although it looks like Vettel's come back strong now. Over the first part of this lap, Vettel is up into the top 10 at least, and he is right alongside Kevin Magnussen here, and that is Verstappen. That's made a really good start, has got himself up into 9th place. Schumacher is still right up there, putting Ricciardo under a little bit of pressure, although Yuri Vips has had an outstanding start. He's currently pushing for the podium positions with Joseph Newgarden. Newgarden is all the way up there in a Haas at the moment. Meanwhile, Gasly has had a nightmare of a start. We're just going to have to keep him pushing for a little bit here, try and get back past some of these cars, whereas Vettel is currently battling. Who was that? That was a Ferrari. That was Leclerc. Has run wide. Did he cut a corner? Did Leclerc just cut a corner there? Is that what happened? We'll see what his first set to time. No, he must have run wide. Did Leclerc have a really good start as well? Did he get up there and just wrecked his race by running wide? We're not going to get that question answered anytime soon. We're just going to have to be a little bit careful with these tyres. We don't want them getting too hot. We just want to conserve a little bit here. Gasly is currently running in 16th place. That is Lance Stroll that is just about to get past, although we know that Aston Martin should be really strong round here. We're battling with Williams that we know is strong from the performance of Nico Hülkenberg, although Hülkenberg has fallen down to 10th place here. But Vettel running 6th place for us. That is not too bad. We currently get past Yuri Vips, maybe, who had that really outstanding start. Maybe we should go and push past that Honda powered car. Oh, and that is a Renault flying around the outside of us. Perez, who hasn't had the best start. So rain has eased off, but it will be coming back, so we will be staying on this Inter for a little bit. We're hoping to clear Yuri Vips here as we head around. We do get past Yuri Vips. We've used a lot of fuel to get to this position with Vettel, and we're going to have to start thinking about recovering. It looks like Gasly is just stuck in too much traffic to get through the order here. That is Max Verstappen, who had a decent start. He has fallen back down the order here. A little bit out of sorts is Max Verstappen. And yeah, we'll just recover for a little bit with Gasly. Nothing we can do about Gasly's race at the moment. Meanwhile, it is all about with Sebastian Vettel, seeing if we can keep him in the top 5 here. Luckily, we've got Vips between us and the much stronger Renault of Perez, and the Red Bull of Alonso. Leclerc is there as well, or thereabouts. Russell has got himself up into 11th place. Russell has had an outstanding start to this race. Over the first 5 laps has seen himself move up 13 positions. That is an absolutely outstanding start for George Russell. But we're currently running 5th at the moment. We're just going to see what we can do. Is Russell's just losing pace to Verstappen in front of him as well. Just going to have to let Gasly run his race maybe. Since he's outside the points, we're just going to have to see how far we can get him up the field, aren't we? It doesn't matter whether we have to do extra pit stops. We've got to find some way to move him back up the order. We've got to push him. Meanwhile, we're just trying to contain at the moment. We're going to get off these laps pretty soon, so we do have some room to push as well. So we might as well attack for a little bit, and we see if we can close the gap up to the Alfa Romeo in front of us. Meanwhile, we've got a Red Bull. That is Alexander Albon in front of us. It looks like Gasly's going to get that move done. He might have the speed to get past this Mercedes. We do have a stronger engine than him. If he can get a good exit here, you know, Verstappen manages to get past Lance Stroll and we lose out, but then we should be able to get Lance Stroll here down the pit straight. We go ahead and do that, which means we're right on the back of Max Verstappen here. So what we'll do is we'll just keep pushing here with Pierre Gasly. We'll just go all out, and then we'll do some aggressive recovering later on when we get onto dry tyres. Maybe it'll be a little bit harder to overtake at that point. And yeah, we'll just do that with Gasly. It doesn't look like we're able to close up the gap, does it? Even though we're pushing all out. That Alfa Romeo is super strong around this track. It's pretty cool around here, so neutral should cool us down with Vettel as well. We just try to stay ahead of Perez. Vips has fallen back behind the Renault and the Red Bull at the moment, and we're just pushing all out here. We've managed to get past George Russell now as well, who's starting to fall back down the field. We are overheated with Gasly. We're gonna get through this tyre pretty quickly. We do want to at least get through a few more laps, maybe 16 to go, so we're going to be able to get through that. It's just a matter of when this rain does ease off. So we're actually just pushing all out. We've got some pretty aggressive fuel recovery to do later on in this race. I don't think we're going through the engine too quickly, and it looks like the rain is just about to stop. We do need to be a little bit careful on the mediums though. We just want to go as far as we can, and just because we've now rebalanced the rate at which we can, so we might as well push all out with these tyres as well, aren't we? Again, I think we can go another lap here. We might, no, we're gonna double stack in the pits, but we're far enough apart. I think, have we got another lap in this? Have we got another lap on these inters? What is everyone else doing? I would maybe want to risk it. Is Ricciardo going around again? No, they're not. So we're gonna have to pit, aren't we? We're gonna get onto the mediums. I don't think a soft is gonna be. It's a little bit too close for comfort. We're gonna go mediums. We're gonna play it safe. Gasly, meanwhile, he's not as good on the tyres, but he does have the same tyre wear. We're going to go mediums. We just need to make sure we can get to the end of the race here. That is the main thing. We're double stacking in the pits, but we've got a mistake. We've got a mistake, but we're still clear. Cost us 2 seconds, which means we're out behind Perez. Gasly doesn't have any mistakes on his. A 1.7. We should have gained position through the pits. We have to be ultra aggressive now with Gasly with the fuel strategy. We don't want to push too much with Sebastian Vettel, but we're behind the Renault now. We've lost out to the Renault. Who was alongside there? Was it Alonso? Alonso has stayed out on track here. We are picking up time. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're losing time to Daniel Ricciardo, who is leading this race at the moment. Renault have gone onto a medium. Amazing. Amazing. He's going to be at a stretch to the end of the race. Perez might not stretch. These ones on the soft, they should do it, because the AI, when they're pushing, they don't use as much as the tyre as they were doing previously, and that is Alonso out ahead of us as well. He managed to stretch on that on the Inter. That shouldn't have worked out for him, but obviously that Red Bull is a lot stronger than us, and we're just going to settle into 7th place. Gasly, I mean, if we hadn't lost that 2 seconds through the pits, we would have been ahead of Alonso, but we do know they're a lot quicker than us. Gasly has done pretty well for himself through the pits, although he's losing out here. Is everyone else pushing at the moment on these tyres? I mean, we're just going to have to be aggressive with the fuel strategy. The car should be light, but we're losing out. We've just lost out to Russell there as well. Fallen back outside the points. Can we get past that Mercedes? We know our car is slightly stronger than that Mercedes. Whether it's stronger on this track, we don't know. And it seems like it is, because we're seeing that Mercedes is stronger than us, because even though we're pushing, Russell is getting away from us, and he's in low fuel mode at the moment. He's been a little bit more aggressive than us. We're going to have to do that at some point. Should we do it earlier rather than later? We've sort of risked everything to get to this point now. We'll do it as late as we can. We're going to leave him in push mode. Vettel is currently in 7th place. It's Vips and Hulkenberg behind, so we should be able to hold on to this 7th place. I don't think we've got much chance of catching up to the Haas and the Red Bull in front of us. Maybe we should have gone for the softs, but I just want to make sure we can get through to the end of the race. There is a lot of new balance and new tyres to get used to here. If we can keep up though, this medium should be stronger at the end of the race than that soft is. And Gasly is complaining at the moment that he can't get past Russell. Just leave you as you are at the moment. And we're managing to hold on to Alonso here. We're pushing a little bit more, which means we're actually going through this medium quicker than we are of the soft of Alonso. So we're just going to dial back. A 7th place will be... no, let's not dial back. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. See if we can be quicker here than Alonso. Since we're so close to him, and then we can dial back once we get past him. Just see. It would be a confidence boost if we can get past a Red Bull on track. I mean, Alonso is still pushing at the moment. We're going to take a lot of life out of this tyre trying to do this. It means we're going to have to be aggressive with the fuel as well. It doesn't look like we've got the pace to do it whilst Alonso's pushing as well, although he's starting to dial back a little bit now. Can we get him? We'll give Vettel this half a lap to try and get past Alonso before we dial back. We're hanging on to the back of the Red Bull and the Renault at the moment. We get the line on the outside, but Vettel has to give it up as Alonso closes the door through the pit straight here. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to close up too much. And that is it. We're overheating now. We're going to have to dial back. Got some aggressive fuel strategy to do over the last part of this race, as Vettel has to dial back. We're just going to have to give up on this at the moment. Vips is behind us. Hopefully I'm going to be quick enough to keep off the AlphaTauri. Leclerc has run wide again, it says. Ferrari having a nightmare race at the moment. Mercedes have moved themselves back up the order. Looks like Renault are on for their first win in this series as well. If Renault can hold on to this, it would be good for them. It looks like, look at that Alfa Romeo. We knew they were going to be strong. Second and third for an Alfa Romeo if they can hold it. Newgarden will be up there in a Haas as well. That Renault power is good for them this weekend. Just the Renault cars doing really well, although Magnussen is a little bit out of it. Magnussen not doing as well. But it is a good weekend for Renault cars. Ricciardo, Newgarden, Perez all in the top 5 at the moment, obviously. Maybe pit stops for some of these cars. We've got Tsunoda, who's done 2 pit stops already. The only car that's used the quickest tyre compound this weekend. Obviously, it only lasted 7 laps. Did he actually go through all the way through that tyre? Can we see how much he went through that tyre in 7 laps? Where is it? Tyre history. No, that is not the right one. Tyre selection. Here's an AlphaTauri. He's on this one, so he's only. It must be this one. He only went halfway through a super soft tyre before he came off it. I don't know what that strategy is from AlphaTauri, but at least it's not one of the top teams that are going for some sort of weird strategy. As it is, we're now fully cooled down on this tyre. We should be able to recover this fuel. We do need to be a little bit more aggressive with the fuel with Pierre Gasly as well, because otherwise he's not going to recover this over 6 laps. He does possibly need to run low mode for the rest of the race to recover that fuel, which means he's going to lose out to Albon, possibly lose out to Verstappen. We tried Gasly, we gave you as much, and Tsunoda goes quickest on that super soft. But as I was saying, we tried to give Gasly as much as we could. He went for it early on in the race, tried to make up a few places. It hasn't really worked out for him. He's moved up, but not enough to get into the points. Meanwhile, it's all about just letting Vettel recover here. He might just have to go in low mode as well himself over the last part of this race. We've got a little bit more of this tyre left than Yuri Vips does, so we do have some room to push if he does get too close, and we do have to go into medium, although he's under a second at the moment. So let's go ahead and open that gap back up with Sebastian Vettel. It's running a little bit close for Gasly recovering this fuel as well. Might even run out before the end of the race, but hopefully he's going to recover. We should be able to recover with Vettel running in medium. 3 laps to go. No, we're going to have to do 1 lap on low mode. We might as well do it now whilst we're pushing the tyre. We want to get down to about 0.2 by the end of this lap. As we just take a quick look, it's still the same above us. Alonso is in front of us. We're not going to be able to catch him. And if we can come across the line and be about 0.2, that should see us through now to medium. We're currently doing all out. We're doing 133. We're not any quicker. We're seeing a few cars pit. Perez has come into the pits, as has Albon as well. I mean, he's not really lost out through the pit stop, which is a good thing, because we've made the pit stops quicker. We're still seeing some cars have questionable decisions later on here. And this is with the base game, laps and stats. As it is, Ricciardo's done the same thing as well. Why? Why? I mean, they did have to run a long time because of the Inter. But Ricciardo was on a medium. What did he just run on that tyre? Medium. I mean, it is there, but he could take it for the extra few laps. I don't get it. But anyway, Schumacher, you've gifted Schumacher a win here, Danny. Schumacher in an Alfa Romeo comes across. It's a full-on podium for Alfa Romeo, a first. And a third for Alfa Romeo. We knew they were going to be strong this weekend. Schumacher did amazingly to hold on, got a lot out of that soft tyre. He just managed to get it through until it fell off the cliff. As we know, Renault, they like to be aggressive. There's nothing we can do about Renault just mucking up, is there? Whatever we do, Renault are just going to do that. Obviously, this isn't the race though, so we can't really take it to heart over this race because it is a rainy race. Strategies do get messed up during the rain. As it is, we finished 6th. It's a first for Mick Schumacher, a second for Ricciardo, a third for Valtteri Bottas. We might have regained the top of the constructors standing here since the Ferraris both finished outside the points. George Russell is still up there in 4th. Verstappen is in 7th. Lewis is quite a way behind his teammate, isn't it? But Daniel Ricciardo moves up to 8th. Schumacher is up to 10th here, so Alfa Romeo should have made a big jump here up into 5th place. Alfa Romeo looking super strong. Have jumped McLaren and Renault. Haas are up here as well, scoring points. Everyone scored points, which is amazing. We're not that close to Ferrari. We didn't actually get past them. We're still only 4 points behind though, with Ferrari struggling a little bit. Mercedes struggling as well. It's going to be tight come the end of the season unless Ferrari and Mercedes can make some big upgrades going forward through the latter half of this season. We came 5th overall, which is not too bad. We've got 2 million coming out of the bank again. We should make that up at the end of the season. There's nothing really to do with the HQ so much other than the test track that we're building. I think that was David Schumacher winning F2 there. Is it David Schumacher? I think. Yes, maybe. Who knows? But anyway, we'll get into the mail. We'll just take the interview with Eddie Jordan. Simple question. We'll just say Seb, because it doesn't upset anyone. If you pick, I'm not answering that. It upsets both drivers. If you pick one, it makes one happy. It doesn't upset the other. So yeah, so that is where we're at the end of that race. We've got Ardennes coming up next, which is a long track, so it should be unstoppable for all the cars. We shouldn't see any crazy strategies. Everything should work out normally in Ardennes. Tyre wear is low, so things should be fixed at least for that race. Meanwhile, we've got the car. The front wing should be built. We're going to see how much that jumps up for the next race. But anytime, anywhere, come back next time. But anyway, until next time, I'll see you down the road in Belgium for the Ardennes Grand Prix. But until that point, goodbye.